Introducing the Paddy Power World Darts Championships.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is Monday night. It is 8 p.m. It is the final live lounge of 2025, and we are going to go out with an absolute bang. Myself, Phil Bars, and Dan Simpson are here for the next couple of hours taking you through everything. And first of all, Dan, Mr. Simpson, how is the Simpson household after what has been, I know, a troubled 2 weeks? How is everyone?
We're all right, mate. We're all right. Yeah, it's been. I won't go into too much detail, but we've dealt with a few bits and pieces in this family over the last couple of weeks. We're all right. Yeah, we're doing okay. Everyone's doing okay today. Today's better than yesterday, and this week's better than last week, and everything's on the up. I'm gonna take the opportunity to just publicly say a little thank you to certainly all of the online darts team out there, the lads, and you lot in the chat. You don't maybe often, sometimes I'll get to see all the lads because the team works away in the background doing all sorts of different bits and pieces, and you'll see things on the website and you see other bits and bobs. But they've all been unbelievably amazing. I've got two special little thank yous to two dart players. Again, I won't go into detail, but they're both called Luke. That sent some very kind and incredibly well received messages of goodwill up to the Simpson house this week. I certainly had some a happy little boy jumping around, high-fiving people. Yeah, so we're on the up. It's the live lounge Christmas party. I've treated myself to a beer. The Paddy Power decorations are up. On it, like you saw me, so they can't see. So before we go live, Phil sort of took me slightly by surprise with the little Paddy Power advert, and it nearly got me off my feet. I was like, "We're here! This is it! It's time! It's Dartmas!" And yeah, it's very exciting.
You hit the nail on the head. It is Dartmas, and I can't bloody wait. I'm pleased we've got rid of that happy football Dartmas, but instead we've got Merry Sky Sportsmas, slightly better than football Dartmas.
I mean, it is. Yes, it is. It's improving. They could improve it even more by just eradicating it and just removing it completely. Then it would have improved a huge amount. But yeah, it's better than last year.
First of all, as well, thank you all so much for tuning in for the Live Lounge Live last week. Incredible. Again, thank you so much to Chris and Charlotte at the wonderful, wonderful Prince of Wales and all their locals that came, all the guests we had in, and the team as well. It was incredible. And the third one, and already when we were leaving, the locals were like, "You are doing this again next year, aren't you?"
We have to because I had to miss this year. Yeah, I missed one, and it was, whilst I did tune in, it was, it certainly wasn't or as enjoyable as it is being there in the flesh, but it was a slightly different experience for me, being able to tune in and watch it along, not quite live, but later. And it was, but yeah, I was very sad to miss it, which means we have to do it again next year.
Yeah, 100%. The chat room is rammed already. Dal, how we doing? Kay, how do? Bobby is in. There's not too much starts for the next few weeks. Nah. Wesley is in. Great Showman, how we doing? Buddy, hope you are good. Good to see you in Edinburgh. Malachi, how we doing? Daniel is in. Warren, Mark, how we doing, my friend? Even Shelty, Ian, Kieran, evening, guys. Marcus, Matt, Rob, how do, mate? Yeah, wonderful year to the end of the year as well. It is Dartmas as well. Loving the chat room. Andrew, how we doing? James,
It's busy, isn't it?
Nicholas is in. Dixie, how we doing? Video Smurf, tad late. Don't worry, you are here. Rob says, I like this one.
Happy online Dartmas. That's better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Better than Sky Sports nonsense.
In, buddy. Teresa is in. Good evening. Hope you are good, Teresa. Lendl is in. Hazard, Max. Oh, I'll tell you what, it is absolutely freaking bonkers.
It's just that time of year, isn't it? And don't forget, folks, that this is the time of year because it's real darts people that are in our chat room. But this is the time of year when the non-darts people start to talk to you about darts because you're the person that they know that knows about it. And they'll say, have you been watching the darts? What channel is it on? When's that Littler playing? And the answer you have to give them is you have to say, well, just if you follow these guys here, online darts, send them if you go into YouTube, you can press share and select all your contacts. Just send them all. Send. Subscribe to these lads here. They'll keep you right all the way through the tournament.
Oh, 100%. We have got you covered with everything. Myself and Dan, we had a chat. I was going up and down one motorway. You were going up and down another. And I think with just about everything, everyone, you are not going to miss a thing at the World Championships of us.
I think we're pretty well covered from every angle. You'll be getting news, you'll be getting previews, you'll be getting reports and write-ups, you'll be getting predictions, you'll be getting odds, you'll be getting interviews, you'll be getting long-form content, you'll be getting short-form content, you'll be getting a bit of everything from the online darts team.
100%.
We might even get a merch link if we pull our finger out. I've only promised that 1,000 times, but Phil can now back me up. Phil knows also how close that is. We are literally a couple of clicks away from having the merch site live. It's sort of built. The site's built. The merch is nearly built. It looks quite nice. We're nearly there. We're really close. Someone asked in the chat room, sorry to jump around, but someone's asked about a Discord. We do have a Discord server. It's quite well used as well. We actually have a section in the Discord for people to put questions in for this very show. So yeah, I would recommend joining us.
So don't worry about that. What was Dan had some stuff to take care of. That's why he wasn't there last week, but he is back. So don't worry about that one, Max. Right, before we go to Ali Pally, shall we do the good, the bad, and the ugly of the WDF World Championship?
Yeah, I thought we'd do that a second. Yeah, let's do it. Because I like to be nice, I like to be nice, I like to be kind. And there are some positives. I
agree that it's like everyone thinks we're going to come on here and just pan it. Are we going to pan parts of it? Yes, and I think it deserves to be panned. But are we going to praise parts of it? 100%.
I also think, if I'm honest, and not everybody, and I know not everybody agrees because I have been unlucky enough to browse through social media at points in the last week, but I went as far as to say that I thought it was better than last year. I think it is improved. Now, I think it was a low bar, but it has definitely got better. And I thought the final, especially, and we'll talk through a bit more of it, but I thought the men's final. The women's final was decent. Men's final was great. Great match.
Yeah, and first of all, congratulations to all the winners. Let's do the elephant in the room first. Let's do the shit because I don't want to end the WDF.
Yes, let's get the shit out of the way first and then get positive.
The negative because they were good. However, the first 5 days cannot be excused. In my opinion, and people can correct me if they're wrong, the organisation let their players down for the first 5 days because what was broadcast was not acceptable. in any stretch of the imagination.
No, it was, and I can say this with great insight and truth. I've seen an awful lot better in school projects. I have seen children produce better in sixth form colleges and things like that. The level of quality of production was inexcusable. Real basics that we see lots and lots of people getting right all the time. And this is the difficulty is that, that players have had to do quite a lot to qualify for these events. They've had to travel a long way, an awful long way, some of them, at great cost to themselves. And they deserved better than some of the presentation, although it improved rapidly and a huge amount once S4C sort of took over. I thought it was a million times better. But yeah, I think some of the players that played in those early rounds can feel a bit let down. That is the record that they all have, because there's a lot of players. Let's be honest. If you play in that event, to play in that venue is a dream for some players. To play one match, never mind to win something, just to play one match on that stage in that venue is a dream for some players, and it's just a shame for them that those in the early stages, the record of that they can go back and look upon is crap.
Yeah, and that's the disappointing thing, because you summed it up brilliantly. There is a lot of players that have spent a lot of money to qualify, and those that only got one game on that stage deserved better than what they got.
Correct.
Now,
although at one point they did get possibly my favourite commentary moment of all time. I mean, for me, I look back as an old man thinking, Michael may miss and Michael may hit. I can't speak, but I think that lad's done it. I think he's trumped it. I think that's the greatest piece of commentary in the history of darts.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not comparing it to the PDC. I'm comparing it to other dart streams that we see that have no budget and produce better. Not comparing it to the PDC at all, because the PDC have millions to spend, the WDF don't. So I'm comparing it probably to the very first Modus Super Series, when it was still the online Darts Live League at Portsmouth. I saw the technology that went into that. It was done on a very, very limited budget with 3 cameras, and it was a million times better than what was put up at Lakeside for those first 5 days.
Yeah, it was. I thought that by the time we got to the back end, I thought it looked really good. I did a great job with it.
Agree.
But it was just like I say. I just feel a bit like they've dropped the ball with it. Is all it is. They've dropped the ball with that because, like I said, there are players that have worked very hard to get there, and to some it is a dream just to be there in the first place. And so then that's the record of it. You look back and show your kids, this is when I was at the Lakeside, and you think, it's just a bit like, it's underwhelming, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah, and like I say, the players deserved better than what they got. But like you say, however, from the moment S4C got there, it went up 1,000,000%.
I thought it looked really good.
It was watchable, was very, very good. It was the first year in and granted, I've had a bit of free time. I've been kicking around a bit, but it allowed me to stick with it. In previous times, I've sort of slipped in and out, and I've caught this, followed a bit on YouTube, but I thought it was good enough where I did feel like I could just sit and watch it and be entertained, and it didn't distract from
product. I thought there was some great games played. It was good. Enjoyed it.
Yeah,
enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
100%. And look, it's not often the number one seed goes on, but look, Jimmy Banski has been the best player within the WDF circuit, and he now has the title to go with it. But the story of the week was obviously Mitchell. Mitchell Laurie, that was for 15 years old, was sensational.
It's very exciting, isn't it? Like, and we've said that, you know, and I've said this a lot, and I don't profess, like, I think people think I do something, but I really, really don't. Like, I talk a lot about darts. I'm not an I don't know half as much as loads of people out there that, you know, that are out watching all the county games and following every game at the Super Series and everything the WDF do. But like I've said to a few people, and you know, that they've highlighted, they've seen it. The news stories are floating around that this young kid has gone this far and done this and got to the final. But like, there's others out there as well. Like, he's not alone. He's done something genuinely amazing. Really, really impressive. But there's, you know, the talent's coming through thick and fast. And I do think that the setup, the amount of competitive darts, the experiences that these young players get gives them a better chance than ever at developing, not just as a dart player, but also like upstairs as well, in competing on stages, in important matches, dealing with pressure, dealing with loss. Like, that's it's interesting that, you know, sometimes losing is a difficult lesson to learn. You have to learn how to lose, and it's tough sometimes. You know, it's not easy, especially for young kids. But we saw Luke Littler deal with a lot of the things he's dealt with in the PDC with a real level of maturity, and that probably was born from experiences that he learned young, you know, as a younger man, like as a prepubescent child, where he was learning how to lose to grown men at darts. But I mean, it's a huge story. It's very exciting and it's very impressive. And you know, yes, he didn't get over the line at the weekend, but we're going to see, and we say it about a lot of people, don't we? But you know, we're going to see him pick up trophies, and he's very, very young, so there's an awful lot of time for him to keep getting better and better. I don't think we know how good he can be yet.
Well, the other thing as well is that I haven't looked at, I don't know if the PDC World Championship qualifying dates has been announced yet. Don't think they have, but they're all 99.9% certain that Mitchell will be back at Lakeside again next year, because of when he turns 16. I don't think he'll have the opportunity to qualify for Ali Pali unless that qualifier happens to fall on the 21st or 22nd or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think, but it's going to be a bit of a lottery, I think, isn't it?
Correct.
Whether or not he's 16 in time.
The likelihood is that he will go back to next year.
What date was it this year? In fact, it might be all right, you know.
It was the 1st of November because you did it.
I know I did. Yeah, I did it like...
It was the 1st of November.
Ah, right, okay. And when is he? The 4th. Oh, it could be right on the wire, couldn't it? Could be right on the wire.
So in all likelihood is the WDF will get another year of him, which is good for them, good for him as well.
Brilliant for him, brilliant for the WDF. A bit like Luke, you know, he will attract an awful lot of viewers. It's a great story. He's Scottish as well, which helps because it brings that fandom from up there. You know, it allows all of Scotland to get behind a young dart player. Yeah, it's just really exciting. And again, there's an awful lot. Whilst he might not be old enough to do some of that stuff this year, there's an awful lot of darts that he can compete in, that he can play in. So yeah, he's a name that we're going to hear more and more of. It's right. Yeah, it's exciting though.
Yeah, Rob, I believe. Look, I haven't seen it yet, but I was told by a good source that the UK one is going to be open like the European ones were. because you didn't have to go to Q School to go to the European World Qualifiers. So we'll see if that happens in the UK, then he might get one shot. Is my
interesting.
Is my thinking is with that. But yeah, it was like I say. So you can enter it. That was what happened in Europe. That in Europe they were open qualifiers. You didn't have to have gone to Q School, and that was the argument. Why are the European ones open and the UK one not? Could I enter it? I could go and have a bash.
Well, we could all go, couldn't we? We should have a day out.
Yeah. So don't worry, Paul. That's on our list to talk about later. Don't worry about that. Obviously, as well, Deiet completing the set after years of heartbreak at the Lakeside, and you kind of thought that once she beat Mikuru, I didn't see who was going to stop her. Mikuru was the obstacle for me, and I think we sort of said that in advance, didn't we? You know, we knew that as soon as we saw the draw, we saw like that. It's not a great draw for either player because they're so good. But it very much just sort of it's the missing piece, isn't it? You know, when you look through everything that Deiet has picked up over her time playing darts, there's an awful lot of very impressive, very big, very prestigious trophies in there. And that one was missing. It's, you know, it's littered with, you know, global success, but that particular one on that particular stage in that room had eluded us. So yeah, it's a great another, you know, okay, it's great stories. And we talked a lot about what does darts actually want? What do fans actually want? What do people tune in for? Well, yeah, there's loads of darts geeks like us that'll tune in and just, you know, we'll watch the angle of entry and then have a, you know, WhatsApp conversation where we talk about if someone's using slightly longer stems. But what a lot of people want to do by sport is they want to be entertained and they want stories. They want to see the story of, you know, the title that's eluded someone for a career and they finally get their hands on it, and they want to see your 15-year-old schoolboy go on and run to the final. And yeah, I thought it added to a weekend of really, you know, quite good, quite nice stories, good things for darts, good things for people. Yeah, completely. And again, a massive shout out to Dan McCarthy. I thought we did a great job on comms for the whole week, anchored it very, very well. I thought he was very, very good.
He's good, isn't he? Does a good job. I thought they're going. I mean, Christ, we've seen him hung out to dry a few times when they've stuck him in there on his own for the day, and you feel a bit sorry for him. You think, Christ, like it's challenging. But I thought he did a good job. I thought Laura and Scott were good as well. I thought it was a nice lineup, and it came across really well. It's good.
Yeah,
and this is why I want, like, you know, I think a lot of people think that we maybe, I don't think they listen carefully enough, like, but I think a lot of people think that we shit on it a lot, and I think that we, you know, and they sometimes don't get us from the right angle. I think, like, it's really good and it's really positive because also the better it does, the more opportunities it creates for talented people like that to continue working in the sport, and that's what we want. Like, we like this sport and we like a lot of the people involved in it. So yeah, we want it to keep doing well and getting bigger and better and provide more of those opportunities.
Yeah, 100%. Before Ali Pally, there was some great news dropped last week that not only have Paddy Power agreed a 5-year extension, the World Championships is not leaving Alexandra Palace, and we are going to the Great Hall from next year.
When you said a Paddy Power extension of their sponsorship, I assumed you meant of us.
Oh, sorry.
I thought I'm going to have to put this tree back up for another 5 years. I'm going to be hanging. We're going to have to go Paddy logos all over. But you know what? Yeah, great news, great hot. Like we've heard it talked about. I mean, how many years have we sort of, you know, we've had that conversation, haven't we? And we have it, and then so everyone goes, well, there's another room, and then if you rejig this and fan zone and all of this. But yeah, like great news. I think it's nice. Let's be brutally honest. It's very nice that we know that for the next 5 years we're not having a darts world championship in Saudi Arabia. Like it's, you know, it is what it is. So let's just be happy about that. We've got another 5 years out of it, another 5 years worth of opportunities for people to keep going. More tickets on sale. I mean, if they could get a bigger family zone, that would be great, because that's my, you know, that's the thing I always bang on about is I want to be able to take my kids. I want it to be easier to take my kids to darts. They're the future of darts. Not my kids specifically, you know, general kids. But it's still, I still don't think it's big enough. But you've got to find a venue that's suitable for every session. That's the thing. Is it big enough for the final? No, because you could sell out Wembley for the final. you could do it in the penalty box at Wembley and you'd sell it out. There'd be enough people that would go and watch the final there. But you need a room, and it's a real sweet spot that you can play your opening matches in, and you can play your unknown qualifiers can appear there. And some of the afternoon sessions that you have a look and you think, oh, that's the one I've got tickets for, is it? And you know, that is, you have in the same venue that you've got to keep and fill every afternoon, every evening session on the weekdays when everybody's got to get up for work the next day as well. Like, you've got to sell all those tickets. So it's a real sweet spot. But yeah, happy another 5 years in the UK. I'll take that. 100%. I don't think we'll be there after 5 years, but I'll take 5.
Well, I think the article said that there's going to be around about 5,500 to start with. Now, I still think there's scope to make it more. I think they've gone 5,500 for year one. They'll see how that sells. And I think that if there is then room to make it 6.5, they might stretch and so on.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll see, won't we? We'll see year one, but I don't expect there to be any spare tickets once next year goes on sale. Like, there isn't for darts, is there? The tickets sell out. So I think they'll sell it out. I think there's more things going on in darts. You know, there's lots going on in darts. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's going to get bigger. It's going to be harder to get a ticket there. It's going to be harder to get a ticket to the Premier League. I agree, it should never leave the UK. I just don't trust people to not.
I don't think it will ever leave the UK while Barry is still alive.
Yeah, fair enough. I know, I'd take that. I'd have that. But again, we've seen stranger things happen, haven't we? In all sorts of sports. Things that we never in a million years dreamed of would be taking place in different places and in obscure parts of the world. It wouldn't surprise me if at some point that's where it ended up.
Oh, I tell you what, I'm not sure this could be done, but I love the concept. A full circle with the glass backdrop. So you had almost the stage in the middle and fans 360 around it.
Oh, wow. I mean, do I like that?
I like that concept.
I don't dislike it, I don't think. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like that.
It is interesting what we're going to see. You'd think they're going to put some thought into it, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think we'll see something interesting.
I like that concept. I have to say, I quite like the thought of that. It is a long time since darts were in the Great Hall. We'll say the last news of the world. Paddy must be funding the works. I don't think Paddy will be. I think Alexandra Palace know that. I can't remember what council it falls under in London because there's that many, but they can't afford to lose the darts. The money the World Championship generates, Alexandra Palace, just the bar alone,
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere last year across the however many sessions there were, the bar took £1.6 million.
And that's you get that. That makes a lot of sense. But it's irreplaceable, isn't it? Because it's not, it's not a one night a year thing. It's not a big event you have one night a year. It's a huge money spinner for them, and to book it out for that many nights right over Christmas, to be able to sell and shift that amount of stuff in the time of year where generally most other forms of entertainment, unless you're a pantomime, are on the turn a little bit, because everyone's got a few less quid in their pocket. Everyone's saving up for things. Christmas is expensive. So yeah, I think it's irreplaceable to them, isn't it? I think they'd really struggle without it.
Yeah, so I think that I'd say, but the PDC won't be paying for the refurb. It will be done by Alexandra Palace and the council. Is the thing. So it'll be, and Great Showman says there, it's not just it's the money and the generation in and around Muswell Hill, Wood Green, and so on, all the bars and restaurants around there, the hospitality and everything. It's just so big that they can't afford to lose it. Hence why we are going to the excuse me, the Great Hall. So that was wicked news as well. And I like the Paddy Power dartboard as well. If you donate to the Darts of Destiny, which again, I think is a great charity. And I think the way they've done it this year is brilliantly.
Yeah, absolutely top draw. Again, I think they have been, one of the best brand, and I'm not just saying it because they're sponsoring us, but they have been one of the best brand partners that I've seen anywhere in darts for anybody. The things that they have done in terms of interactions with or engagement with fans, the things that they've done for players as well. We've seen players with hitting 9 darters and also getting rewards for it, and yeah, it's hugely positive for the sport and for fans. Yeah, it's really good. I didn't get a board, but there's enough of them in my house. I'm all right for that. I'm all right for that boards.
Yeah, it was. It's sensational, like you say. They have the way they've bought and elevated the sponsorship to a next level. The money they're raising for Macmillan Cancer is absolutely.
It seems like a real partnership, doesn't it? Like they are invested in.
Correct.
In the product, in darts, in the fans, in the players. Like they have taken it all on, and we've seen so many. We've seen so many other sponsors, and it got to the point, didn't it, where really what we were looking for with a sponsor. Well, we hope that it made the stage look nice. I quite like Mr. Vegas because I quite like the stage, and we don't get that's sort of the limit to which unless you're in a venue, if you're with Darren Minor the other week, Ladbrokes, I thought did a reasonable job. They were doing we saw a lot of what they were doing, didn't we? But they were doing a lot of fan interaction. If you got out into the venue and walked around a little bit, there was a lot of fun and games to be had. So, Ladbrokes did a decent job down there, and again, maybe they are seeing what people like Paddy Power are doing, and it's forcing all of the other sponsors to sort of think outside the box a bit. What can we do, and who can we work with, and what can we do to interact with fans? Because they were at it, to be fair. Ladbrokes were at it all weekend, weren't they? Interacting with fans and getting out and playing games and having a laugh and creating content and things. So yeah, Paddy they're definitely sort of trailblazing on that front and leading the way. But if it drags the rest of them along with it and forces them to do a bit more and push more and get more out of that sponsorship for themselves. Yeah, Kazoo, Christ, they were dark days, weren't they?
Shelty asked, can I ask a question? Genuinely, where do people stay when they travel to Ali Pali? Actually, around it, there's not a lot. However, transport links to it are very, very good. Wood Green train station is a short walk up the hill and so on. So I stay about 15 minutes away So that actually around it, there isn't that much, but there's plenty within a short traveling distance is the thing for it. The fan zone was absolutely raw. And I chatting to a couple of the players this weekend and the guys from Paddy, I don't know when it's coming out, but one of the videos they have filmed with the players is nothing short of incredible. That is all I'll say. It is absolutely stunning. Great, Sean. I get that. I know some people don't like the gambling element, but look, unfortunately, in the UK, without the bookmakers, sport wouldn't happen because they're the only ones with that kind of disposable marketing budget and advertising money to do it. Is the thing.
Yeah, and it'll be there until somebody else comes with enough money to pay more than them, and and that is, unfortunately, that's it. And somebody will come and, if somebody comes with offers more money than the bookies, then I'm sure they'll take that sponsorship away.
Well, that's the only reason William Hill lost it to Kazoo, was because Kazoo and their dodgy template paid more. That was the
staggering. Do you remember? If I do claim that I did call that quite far in advance after, and I'm sure I gave a really boring talk on this show. It ended up with graphs of their stock of their share price. I was like, well, if you watch this and watch what's happened here, it doesn't bode well. Called it.
Yeah, it was it was mad. Oh, Johnny, to be fair, if I win the Euro Millions tomorrow, I'm going to buy one of those great big fuck off camper van things and just travel around in one of them 100%.
That's a good idea. You could have a tour bus, couldn't you?
Yeah,
like a band. You go around in a tour bus.
Not that I'm promoting following my tips. However, there was a bet on the Paddy Power site yesterday that I still can't believe. It was 11-4, and the bet was Luke Littler to hit more 180s in every match he plays than his opponent.
And how much? And what were the odds on that?
11-4.
Yeah, that seems
very generous.
That seems very generous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, I thought, and again, I'm referencing our partner, the turbo price. Have you seen that one?
I haven't, no.
So the turbo price pre-match is a Luke Littler, Luke Humphreys final at 9-2, which again I think is pretty good value from Paddy there. I think if you look at, let's be really honest, play with the likelihood, work your way through your brackets, 9-2 for 9-2, no matter who they are, for number one and number two in the world to be in the final of any sport anywhere is not bad. If you were at a tennis tournament, 9-2 for the number one and number two in the world when it's seeded to be in the final, you'd think that's pretty decent. So yeah, I think that's all right. That.
Yeah, I don't mind that. But the tournament itself, obviously, you weren't on the live show last week, Dan, so we can go through the sections and so on. So section number 1 looks a bit like this.
Yes. Interesting, that.
In that section, who is your seed most in danger? Chat room, you can get involved as well.
Oh, well, the seed most in danger, I think, well, for a number of reasons, is got to, I'm afraid, be Rob Cross, because he's in no form at all. But we have seen some really, really good performances from Cordeka this year. Since he picked up his card, I think we've seen some really, really good darts from him. He's been a real good addition to the tour. He's a solid pro, and I think he could do Cross. I think Hector has made a habit of not winning matches on TV and on a big stage of late, but I do think he will have the better of Steve Lennon. Yeah, I think Rob Cross probably seed most in danger in that section.
Yeah, quite possibly. I know. I wouldn't say he's a seed, but he's in the seeded part. Is Martin Lukeman, because obviously we're not debating Martin Lukeman's ability or talent here by any stretch of the imagination, but he has this issue at the moment where he's struggling to feel the darts in his fingers. Now, if that carries on, that's an issue.
I mean, it's a huge issue. Yeah, if you're playing darts and you can't feel the dart in your hand, then it's going to hold you back significantly, isn't it? He's a really talented dart player. He's a really decent bloke as well. We've had a good laugh. We've had a good laugh with Martin at various different events, and it's a real shame to see him struggling. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't. I don't know. Yes, he's in the seeds. Obviously, he's not got a numbered seed against him on the draw. He might get lucky. Max Hopp he's not consistent. Although, we have seen a bit of him. We've seen a bit of him of late. We've seen a little bit of a resurgence. But I think Lukeman, I suppose if he can't throw the darts, he can't throw the darts, but he should be able to squeak past Max Hopp even on a bad day.
I tell you what, as well, I'm rolling back the years here. I think Mervyn King could go on a little bit of a run.
I think that you might be right, perhaps. I think he's fallen quite lucky with the draw. Like if we're really honest, because there are players there that are so far out of form, and also it's not great players. They're not superb players, and we have seen that he does. Whilst he's not able to find it consistently anymore, which is why he finds himself in the position that he is. He has been playing well. Like he has been playing well away from the PDC. The other things he's been playing, he has done well. And I think that he could get past Ian White, who has been very inconsistent. If he then bumps into Rob Cross or Cordecker, he's got a chance there. Like Barney and Heta, we know have got a stinker in them on the telly, and Mervyn King might just be the personality that's required to sort of, cause a bit of upset there and unsettle those players. So yeah, I think he has a chance, and I'm all for it. There's a Mervyn King shirt in upstairs somewhere, and I am looking forward to being on a Fallout bar wearing that Mervyn King shirt if he gets a couple of victories.
Anthony is in. How are we doing, my mate? Hope you are good. Right, so Dan, section number 1. Your quarter-finalists and who wins the quarter-final in section number 1.
Oh, this is where everyone just wants boring, because I am trying, but I can't. In round 1, I can come up with all sorts of little things. I think Bradley Brooks might beat Joe Cullen, and I think, I don't know. Well, David Davis might win. He came through the qualifier, that was impressive, and we might even see Cam Crabtree do a bit. But in the quarterfinal, Luke Littler will beat Gerwyn Price. And it is inevitable, I'm afraid. They're both just too good.
I agree. That is my quarterfinal lineup as well, and I am with you. Although Gezi jetting off to Dubai today, was with him last night in Cardiff. He's going to Dubai for some sun for 4 days.
Good on him. I've just booked to go back. Good on him. Well, you see, the thing is, it's not. Let's be honest, because of the way the time. I know it's 5 hours at the minute, but with it being ahead and it's 5, like personally, I find it like pretty easy. Like, you know, I don't think it's not like going to other parts of the world where you're having to go the other way. It takes you out your loop, and you'll probably just be able to relax for a bit. There are dartboards everywhere, so I'm sure he'll be able to get a chuck. But even if he's not practicing, you know, sometimes he just might be what he needs. He knows better than anyone, I suppose, what he needs getting into this. I do think Gezi is mindset wise right up there with the very best in the world in terms of, you know, competing as a professional sportsman. So if that's what he thinks he needs at this time of year as a prep, then he knows best, doesn't he?
Section number 2. There we go. And I think this is a bit of an interesting section.
I think it's a lot harder to pick. I think it's a lot less straightforward. And I think that the form and the recent appearances on television of some among this section has made it even bloody harder.
So again, seed in danger.
Take your pick. Seed in danger. Oh, balls to it. It's Dave Chisnell, isn't it?
I agree.
He's in danger because he is in danger because he's been playing he's been playing crap for starters. He can't buy a win for love nor money. Like he can't win a game, and that crowd is going to be all over him. And when he starts to miss, which he will, you know, recency bias tells us, then the crowd's going to get up even more. And if Fallon starts to get ahead, I think he's going to find it very difficult to catch back up. So I've got to say, because I look at that and I don't think it's a particularly strong quarter. But I don't think that Stephen Burton threatens Martin Schindler. Bunting will probably be all right. So will Dirk. Searle should be okay. Massive, huge amount of time for Adam Lipscomb. I had a couple of really good chats with him in Minehead. Absolutely top bloke. But Johnny Clayton is Johnny Clayton.
Yeah.
Michael Smith, again, I think the question there is not so much whether, you know, the level that Lisa can get to, but it's how healthy and fit and capable and pain-free Michael Smith can be. Chizzy's in danger, though.
Yeah, I agree that this isn't a blip anymore. This is a full-blown slump that
Correct.
Dave Chisnell was in. This is now approaching 18 months that he's not produced. So, yeah, look, Fallon is going to have to play well. Look, if Chizzy averages 95, he wins comfortably. Yeah. However, if he is low 90s, early or late 80s, Fallon will be in that match.
And what I think as well is I think that Fallon is more dangerous playing somebody like Chizzy where he's at the minute in set play, because she doesn't have to. He can rattle off a load of 180s and nick a couple of, but it doesn't really matter. And do I think Chisnell has it in him to cock up the big moments? Right at the minute, yeah, I think he's got big misses in him, and I think that's where if that action breaks down further, then like I say, she doesn't have to dominate him. She doesn't have to, she doesn't have to rattle off 9 legs in a row. She just needs to just do the right things at the right time. Yeah, time it right, nick the sets, and I think set play gives Fallon the advantage.
So, your quarter-finalists and who wins the quarter-final in Section 2?
I think this is quite hard, you know.
I think this is quite easy for me.
It's easy if you pick seeds 4 and 5, though, isn't it?
I've picked one of them.
Have you? Okay. Well, that's not as boring as I thought. Yeah, he'll be fine. So, Johnny Clayton beats Martin Schindler in the quarterfinal.
I agree with your winner. I think Johnny Clayton will be in the semi-final. But I think, and this is rogue, and I can't make my mind up, it will either be against Ryan Searle or Dirk van Dijvenbode.
I don't think that's as rogue as it could have been. I thought if you'd have given me
Stowe Bumps or Stephen Burton.
Yeah, Nitin Kumar or young Tavis, then I might have thought he's, come on, Philip. But, they're still, they're solid players, those two. And again, I suppose, like, what you're looking for there is you're looking for that break because they are both players who, for years, we have talked about having the game within them to reach a world quarterfinal. Like, for years, we have said, Dirk is exactly talented enough as a player to reach a world quarterfinal, which is exactly the same for Ryan Searle. And it's going to be tough because I think Bunting's unpredictable. I don't think he's not the great power that we've seen in recent years. He is beatable, and he's beatable among that company as well. But I think Schindler could be really dangerous in there because he can just be very solid.
The other thing as well, I think Stephen Bunting is overthinking this top four, and he's too worried about what's behind him at the moment and how far they are away.
Yeah, without thinking that if he just goes and wins, and plays really well, he doesn't have to be in the top four. He'll be in the Premier League. All is good. It doesn't matter.
Right, section number 3. One of my quarterfinalists is easy.
Ricky Evans? Is that no? Hang on. Are we doing Seed in Danger first?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Seed in Danger.
Dimitri Vandenberg.
I worry for Dimitri Vandenberg's tour card next year.
100%. Darren Beveridge is no mug. He's playing better than Dimitri is, I'm afraid, at the minute. Like, Dimitri Vandenberg, I would say, is a seed in danger no matter who he's playing at the minute because his game is so far away from where it needs to be. And he's also in a section here with some incredibly strong seeds. If he gets through his game, that the first time he meets a seed, he's going to meet Jan van Veen. If the seeding system works, Cam Menzies in there. James Wade's had an amazing year. Nathan Aspinall is, of course, Nathan Aspinall. This is a brutal section for seeds. There's some real talent, but there is also on the other side, and you look down there, whilst there isn't, a lot of history of some of those players being successful on this stage, there is some potential within there. We know there's some potential from the North Americans. We know there's potential from some of the younger players. Like, this could get really interesting this quarter. Yeah, I agree. But that said, Luke Humphries will come through it. After all of that, but after all of that, water is wet, grass is green. Luke Humphries, obviously Luke Humphries. Yeah, really, the hard work's in the bottom half for this in terms of picking it. I've got to go with Luke Humphries. I would have been very, very comfortable picking James Wade a few weeks ago because his form this year has been so good, but he just has gone off the boil perhaps at the wrong time. And I don't know if I'm still as I've picked James Wade to make a quarterfinal for pretty much everything that we've predicted this year. And I think for the first time in 12 months, I don't think I can.
I don't think you can overlook his record at Ali Pali either.
No, and this is it as well. And it's got to be Humphries beats Van Veen.
Now, I've got Humphries beating Aspinall in round 4 to put himself into the quarterfinals. Bottom half, I went rogue last week, and I'm sticking by it. I went Matt Campbell to have a really good run.
Crikey. Now, do you know what? He can beat all of those players, can't he?
Correct.
He can beat all those players.
I think Jan van Veen beats Matt Campbell in round 4 to set up the quarterfinal with Humphreys, but ultimately Humphreys wins.
Water is wet, grass is green, etc.
Correct. But Matt Campbell to have a really good run. Section number 4. And again, this is a minefield.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And I don't think I've gone rogue enough yet.
Oh, my.
So,
Are you going Joe Comito to play Arno Merck in the quarterfinal?
you know, it's not far away. Hang on, we haven't done it. We keep getting out. Seed in danger. Right. Seed in danger is. Right. It's not him. Yeah, it is. Of course it is. Daryl Gurney. Daryl Gurney's the seed in danger.
He is. However, I'm going to go bold here. Noelin van Leuven beats Peter Wright.
Could happen. Could happen. We've seen Nolan play better darts than Peter has produced at times over the past year. Richie Edhouse, there is a case to be made as well that Johnny Tartar could defeat Richie Edhouse. We've seen very little from him after he got his hands on a pot.
Yeah.
But I think the most credible threat to a seed in that stage, in that environment, is Daryl Gurney, and you know, for having to face Bo Greaves because she's just so good. And everyone, the rest of them, you've got to have Peter Wright is going to have a bad day to lose to Noah Lynn, and Richie Edhouse is going to have a bad day to lose to Johnny Tartar. Daryl Gurney could produce his best darts and still lose to Bo Greaves. And that's why I think he's the most in danger.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I know a lot of people are saying MVG. I actually think MVG's got.
He's not in. He's got a perfectly. He's
a really nice draw to play
himself
himself into some form.
I don't think he get. I honestly don't think. Like, people seem to think that he's fell off a cliff, and he's like, he hasn't. He's number 3 in the world. He's played. Yes, he has had the odd. You know, he's played shit sometimes, but Michael Van Gerwen will piss through at the 4th round easily. But he will get beat in the 4th round by. Now, interestingly, I think there's 1, 2, 3. Right, it's 3 or 4 people that beat Michael Van Gerwen in the 4th round. So it all just depends on which of them I think come through that. All balls to it. Connor Scott beats Michael Van Gerwen for a spot in the quarterfinals, where he will be beaten by Danny Noppert, who will have beaten Josh Rock.
Interesting. I am going
see a breakout. Like we've got to see. So, and I think Connor Scott in that draw, the way that those matches have panned out.
I am going that we get El Clasico in round 4. And MVG beats Gary to book a quarterfinal spot. He will play in the quarterfinal Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Bo Greaves.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Again, so what I can't do, right? My safest bets for this whole year, consistently making me look loosely competent at this, and like I've got half an idea of what I'm talking about. Has been James Wade and Danny Noppert, and what I'm not brave enough to do is abandon them both in the same set of predictions. So having dropped James Wade from that regular prediction, it's me I have to keep Danny Noppert because they've been so consistent and so good to me over this year.
Again, my only concern, the same as with James Wade, is Danny Noppert's record at Ali Pali in the World Championships is horrific.
It is. I mean, yes.
I can't overlook it.
But so the man has played in
the world
5 semi-finals this year.
He's never got past round 3, and he's lost first round the last 2 years. Since he qualified in 2019 for the first time, he's never got past round 3.
Former Lakeside finalist as well.
I can't overlook it.
I genuinely think this year, those 5 semi-finals, I think we've really seen a lot. Like we've seen the best that we've ever seen of Danny. No, it's his best season ever in the PDC. It's the best year he's ever had. Yes, he has lifted a trophy back in 2022, but the rest of that year didn't look as good as this year did. Like, this is the most consistent he's played very, very, very well for a whole year. And it does give me a bit of faith and hope that I think he'll do all right.
So, from your winners, your semi-final lineup, who have you got in the final on January the 3rd, and who is taking home £1 million?
All right, so I've got Luke Littler playing Johnny Clayton, and I've got Luke Humphreys playing Danny Noppert, which unfortunately, for anybody who's watched darts before, means one thing, that it's going to be a Littler Humphreys final. Oh. Is it repeat or revenge? That's the biggest question. I'm going to go Luke Humphreys. I think Humphreys beats Littler. I think he spoils the story that the media want to tell.
I agree with one finalist. I agree Luke Humphreys from the bottom half will be a finalist. I said this on the Live Lounge last week. I had the same final as you. And I had the same winner as you.
Oh.
Something in the back of my head, and I can't get rid of it, is saying Gerwyn Price beats Luke Littler.
I thought that's what it was coming.
But I said last week that I'm sorry. I still think I'm sticking with my Clayton Luke Littler semi-final.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sticking with it. But when it happens, I won't be annoyed, but something in the back of my head says Price is going to beat Littler. But I'm sticking with Luke Littler against Johnny Clayton in the semi-final. And I am agreeing with you that I am saying Luke Humphreys will be a 2 times champion of the world. And I'm saying that because history tells you not many people retain this title. look, Luke Littler is a generational talent. And would I be surprised if he retains? Absolutely not.
No, that's not the shock. The shock is the surprise is Humphries is the surprise winner, isn't it?
But
Well,
I just, again, like I said about James Wade and Danny Noppert's record in the World Championships, I can't overlook that only 3 people have ever defended this. This title hasn't been defended for a decade. Gary Anderson was the last in 2016 to defend this crown.
It does feel, and again, sometimes it's, and let's be brutal though, like Littler has made fun of, you know, tradition in terms of record. You know, oh no, no one's ever done this and then qualified for that, and no one's ever won this, and no one's ever won. He has literally took the piss out of years of people thinking, well, no one generally does it. You don't do this, and you can't do that. He just gets on with it, doesn't it? So be interesting. If he can do it, then, you know, he just elevates himself even further, if such a thing is possible, into the stratosphere of the consciousness of the nation.
Look, if he defends it, I think he does. He instantly goes into the top 5 greatest of all time at this age.
If he doesn't win Sports Personality of the Year this year, it's an absolute joke.
He won't win it. It will be Chloe Kelly, probably.
Yeah. Bollocks.
Yeah, I'm not.
He should win it. Deserved it.
Marcus, I get that, but that's why I think it could happen. Because sooner or later, all streaks come to an end. At some point, everything comes to an end. And that's why I think it might be here. Oh, good question. How many 9 darters will there be? Oh.
Did we not? 4?
Yeah, 4. I don't mind that.
4's a good number.
Yeah.
What you want is ideally like a couple from the big boys late in the game when they pick, and then you want somebody completely rogue, you know, not rogue. You want somebody completely spectacular. You want a qualifier or something like that. One of the North Americans, one of the Asian players. Paul Lim, that's who we want to see a 9 data from. Let's see a 9 data from Paul Lim. I'm not going to get, and this aside, I did really want the, we may get Luke Humphries, Paul Lim. You know, that's possible in the second round. I really wanted a Littler Paul Lim. That was my dream match. That's what I wanted. I thought it was a beautiful, you know, sort of passing of the torch. Not even really passing the torch, but, you know, I just thought it was a cool thing. We won't see that, which is sad. So, yeah, Paul Lim to get a 9 would be pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't.
Not going to, but
yeah, no, I don't dislike it. To be fair,
was a good number.
I can get behind that. Look, in terms of everything going on, look, this is obviously it's the first World Championship, first tournament as part of this new Sky deal as well. I'm interested to see, and I hope we get some subtle changes, being the first one. In terms of the broadcast, I want the Sky Pad back. That we saw it 2 years ago, and we've not seen it enough since. I want to see the Sky Pad back, and I want to see Dan Dawson breaking stuff down and analysing stuff, because the way he did it for the final between Michael and Michael was brilliant.
Yeah, really enjoyed that. And I want, more of it, please. And again, I think we can do that. I think there should be more of that content. Doesn't necessarily have to be sort of, live on that show. I think there's a lot of, that channel turns into Sky Sports Darts over Christmas, and they can do all sorts of extra, analysis, and they've got everybody in a building for however long. They can get on with as much content production as they want, but more of that, please.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I'm interested to see if we get anything new in terms of production, being it's the start of the new deal, to see if anything changes. Because look, this is the biggest world championship the sport has ever seen. This is the biggest tournament the sport has ever seen in so many different things and different ways. The prize money, the amount of players, and so on. That look, this world championship is going to go into the record books, no matter who wins it.
The viewership is going to be absurd as well, and people will look back at numbers of people that have tuned in to watch darts, and they will be, they'll be citing numbers really that are from the time when there was only 4 channels, like in half the world, just that's all you could watch. Whereas in the modern era, like I do think we'll get far more, we'll get bigger numbers than we saw last year, the year before. It is continuing to go like that, and it ain't stopping anytime soon.
Correct. It is also sad in a way because it is John McDonald and George Noble's last tournament as the great duo retire from the sport. It'll be quite a sad moment when they walk off the stage at the end of the final.
It will. I don't begrudge anyone a retirement. I just, and yes, I just think, sometimes there's more important things in life, isn't there? And, we learn a lot about that. But if you're comfortable, or you are what comfortable looks like to you, and you don't have to work again in your life, go home and spend some time with your family. Like, well, I don't know why, unless you really love your job, in which case, maybe carry on. But yes, it will be different. But things do move, and things move now. People have got to get used to it, that things move faster now than they ever had before. Things will continue to move quicker than ever, and more changes will come, and you will see more and more things changing in shorter periods of time. It's just the way of the world, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Who replaces George Noble after he retires? My gut, and I think it should be Owen Binks. I think Owen is the next cab off the rank. I think he's done an incredible job. We saw him refereeing some stage 2 at Minehead. I think Owen is the natural replacement to come in for George. People asking about Ludog. We spoke about this last week. Is he Johnny Mac? No. And this is the problem. People have to stop comparing him to Johnny Mac. Sorry, he is not Johnny Mac. Now, when we first saw him, was he perfect? No. Was he perfect at the Grand Slam? Absolutely not. Did I personally see improvement from the Grand Slam to the Players' Championship finals? Yes. Again, was it still perfect? No. But I saw improvement. So if he's the one the PDC are going to go with and feel that that's the one, we have to give him time because he has got a massive pair of shoes to fill. And you're not just going to slip into Johnny Mac's shoes and be Johnny Mac.
No, it's an impossible job. It's not an impossible job. That's the wrong. It's impossible to keep everybody happy because immediately, people are straight away going to compare him. And it's all of us who's, oh, well, I don't like the way he says that. I don't like the way he says that slightly different. Sometimes people just don't like change. Sometimes they get too attached. The thing is, what I have seen is, and I don't think, there aren't these people ready-made on the shelf. You can't get good at something unless you get to do it. You can't, as our friend says, practice shitting yourself. You need to be able to experience it, to do it, to learn how to do it, to keep progressing, and you've got to be given some time to do it. Like, we saw not just the improvements, but we saw some of the work that went into some of those improvements. Like, I saw and spoke to him and saw how he was, the effort that was going into improving. And I think, well, it's dead easy to sit on your ass at home and go, oh, I didn't enjoy that very much. Oh, that other bloke's better. What other bloke? Other bloke that lives on the other, he lives several countries away. Brilliant. Well, I mean, there might be a bloke in Poland who's better at your job than you, but it don't mean we have to immediately ship him over and send you home, does it? Like, it doesn't really work like that. But he's working really hard at it, and he's getting better. Like, if we'd seen him 3 or 4 times in a row and it wasn't where it needed to be, but we saw no progress, then I think you can go, right, maybe this isn't going, maybe this isn't heading in the right direction. But if you are seeing someone make fairly large steps progressing, then you can go, all right, well, yeah, imagine where they'll be by, 6 months' time then. Could be great. I just think you've got to give someone a fair chance.
I was about to say, Mark, I get that, but also Johnny Mac has made mistakes when he introduced Boris Kirchmar when Keegan Brown was stood at the top of the walk-on.
In fairness, it's a very easy mistake to make between those two.
The last Premier League Johnny Clayton was in, he introduced him as the former UK Open champion. Mistakes happen.
You find me someone who's never made a mistake at work. Jesus.
Correct. Everyone, that's my point. Even John, who is legendary, makes mistakes. Now, I don't know this, but would it surprise me if Lewis did the UK events and then for Antwerp, Rotterdam, Berlin, the European Championships, the World Series finals, would it surprise me if Swiss Phil did those? No, it wouldn't. Because then you've almost got a European announcer and a UK announcer. Would that surprise me? No, not at all. And would I like it? Yeah, I don't dislike it. Someone says, is Swiss Phil going to be at Alexandra Palace? Yes, but not as an announcer. He is doing commentary for German TV. So this is the thing, that Swiss Phil is incredible, multi-talented, and doesn't just announce.
Yeah, and also you don't get a say in what he wants to do. Like, he might be thinking, he might be sat at home thinking, fuck me, these lads are all trying to get me to do that. I hate that. It's crap. I only did it to get through the door so that I could try and become a commentator. And I really want to be a commentator. And if that's his feeling, and he might not want to travel and be he might not want to be in the UK. The amount of times that you would need to be in the UK to do that job consistently. He may not want the job. He might not want to live where the job requires you to live or travel as much. He might have kids at home. Who knows? But yeah, I just think you've got to. Darts will continue to change. There's too much money coming into it, and it's going to get too big. And you just don't want to be one of these people that looks at every change and goes, "Oh, wasn't it better back then?" Well, in some ways it was. In other ways, it's not. And you can't change it.
You laugh, Jamie, at this. So the 2 biggest boxing promotions in the
there's
UK
not a big deep talent pool there.
Are Matchroom and Queensbury. And even for the UK shows, Queensbury flying Thomas Triber and Matchroom flying David Diamante. So there isn't a massive pool of announcers in the UK. It is quite a specialist position that you can't really.
And this is the problem. They're not just on the shelf, are they? There isn't.
You can't just go, right, we'll have him, because they're not there.
You need someone from, I don't know, you need to pluck someone out of like some sort of stage school. They need some sort of Shakespearean actor. They need to go, someone from Matchroom needs to go to RADA and find some big booming Brian Blessed sort of Shakespearean actor with a monster voice and somebody like that. That's what I would do if I was Matchroom, thinking outside the box, and someone said you need someone to announce. Well, what does that involve? Well, it involves standing up, speaking really clearly so that everybody can hear, or learning lines as well. You say, all right, well, that's actually where I would go to. I'd go straight to RADA, find some out of work actors, big booming voices, and say, right, come on, get a go at this. I think that's where the talent, that's where your transferable skills are coming from, aren't they?
Jar, nice to have you in the chat room. By the way, I've got your Champions League clipboard, lad. It's in the office. I had a good idea, then I can't remember what it was. I'm not sure how this
would be better than Brian Blessed, but whatever it was.
For me, in terms of MCs that are away from TV stages and whatever, the best MC currently in the exhibition circuit at getting the players to the stage is Paul Starr by an absolute mile.
Paul's very, very good. He's also, and again, I've been lucky enough to spend quite a bit of time at events with Paul, and I've watched him behind and in front and on the stage and off the stage. And again, Paul's pretty multi-talented as well, in that he's very, very good as an announcer at getting somebody from where they need to be onto the stage, very good at engaging the crowd and getting them sort of tuned into what's happening. But he's also pretty good. I've seen him do quite a bit of Q&A work as well, and he does that very well. He holds a room quite well. I think Paul's he's very talented.
As well, I'm not sure, chat room, we were talking about walk-ons earlier, and in the last, obviously I've spent the last 12 days on the road doing exhibitions, and players have been given the microphone at the top of their walk-ons.
What, to sing?
Correct.
Okay.
And I quite liked it.
Yeah, scraping the barrel. No.
Nathan Aspinall in Scotland was incredible.
Not for me. It's like karaoke, isn't it? Christ.
Halfway down though, and this would be the worry. It was halfway down. He literally jumps into the crowd with the microphone. Edinburgh, let's get fucking wankers.
Brilliant. Yeah, and this is why, you see, because you know better than most people, Phil. If there's a particular type of person that you cannot fucking trust with a microphone in their hand, it's dart players, isn't it? Some would argue you've made a career from that fact being true. Is that if there's a pocket of society of people that really shouldn't be trusted around a microphone, it's dart players. Then put them in an exhibition environment where, let's just say, things are slightly looser than they might be when they're on a TV or playing in something that means something. I think it's a recipe for absolute chaos. I mean, I love chaos, but I think it's a recipe for fucking madness.
Yeah, honestly, it was so good. It was class. Also, which was good, and they have loops at the top of their walk-on now.
Yes.
Gary Anderson in Edinburgh had Flower of Scotland looped into his walk-on. That was very, very special.
Oh, is it staying? Do we know?
I don't know. I think it was just something they do for the exhibitions in Scotland.
That one.
But it was very, very good. Flower of Scotland.
Some of them I prefer more than others. I've always, whilst I've never ever, and I've never ever enjoyed the Ice Ice Baby walk-on, I always enjoyed the Who. Yeah, because he has the Who sort of looping before the shite one kicks in. And I think there's a few of them where it does work really well, and that sort of one song then just being blending into another to start the walk-on. I think it, presentation-wise, I think it looks really good. But we talked a lot about walk-ons, haven't we? So logistics-wise, right? Does the switch to the Great Hall give us any potential for varying what a walk-on looks like. I still want, and I genuinely believe, certainly for like a world championship, or a world championship final, but a world championship, the crowd should not have seen the player before they hear the music and hear the announcement. Like, I've always said that. Like, it's so strange. It's so awkward. Like, there's just a lad stood with his hands in his pockets, like checking his watch, waiting to see, all right, my turn now. Like, I want it to be a reveal. I want to hear the music.
I agree. And look, I won't name who I've spoken to, but I was chatting to someone that is going to be very heavily involved in production going forward, and the walk-ons are an area they want to improve.
Good.
It won't. He said, look, it's not going to happen overnight, but over the next year, you will start to see subtle changes.
Good. I think it needs it. I think that it's such a, because of the environment and the venues that Darts utilizes, there's just so much scope for it because of the way the crowd is. Like, I think it's really awkward when, and then what happens what happens if you're in somewhere like the Winter Gardens, if you're at the match play and Luke Littler's coming out second and one player walks on, and just as they pass, like, you see Luke like walking past him, and everyone in the room's already cheered, everyone's an high five, everyone's sort of, it's almost like everyone's got it out of their system. Then they're expected to go, "Hey, Luke Littler's here," and they've already sort of done it, and I think it sucks a bit of life out of the room. And
yeah, I agree.
You want it. I want it to be a reveal. I want something to, open, something to lift them to walk out of something, like something. Something. I'm not saying that I'm not saying we need, John Cena at WrestleMania, but
this.
Well, I mean, I'm all for it, but baby steps for it. Baby steps.
I'm thinking zip wire down the middle of Ali Pally to the stage for some players.
I think you've got to be fucking careful which players you choose. I think some of those lads will pass the fucking medical and others will not for a zip wire from the roof. I think that's not everyone. It might be if the zip wire bloke might be hoping that Humphreys does all right. Dear me, yeah. There's a few of those lads. Can you imagine them trying to fuck? Like, remember when Boris Johnson got stuck on the zip line? It's the last thing we need, isn't it? Raymond van Barneveld suspended above Alexander Palace while Eye of the Tiger plays.
Oh, that would be incredible. Look, I'm loving this chat and the informalness and so on tonight, because it is good. Look, let's talk about
Christmas party, isn't it?
Let's talk. Good luck getting Boris on a zip wire. He's like 7 foot.
See, the only way you could improve zip wire, right, is you have to have thrown your first 3 darts before you land. Just as you're coming into the stage, or either that, or you bull up from the zip wire. Yeah. 1 dart each, closest in, bang.
Johnny, I don't think they'll come to an end. What I think they'll do is they will make the walk-on area bigger so the fans are further away from the players.
But that's a nightmare in a venue like
Blackpool,
where it's already unbelievably tight in that main room, really tight in that main room. There's some of the rooms that you're all right for the Premier League, but yeah, there's a few of them that you're going to struggle with.
Can I put a complaint about last week's show? Can't believe John ever sanded the job.
Did you know? I can't believe that didn't get used.
So let's talk about moments of the year. Let's have a bit of a 15-minute or so reflection on the year. What has been, chat room, get involved as well. What has been your moment of the year? It doesn't have to be a win. It could just be whatever. Your moment of the year. What would it be?
I think it's difficult because it's been somewhat of an outrageous year, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The best moment is probably if I don't do moment and I do week, then I'd say Blackpool, because it's just so special. I mean, the fact that Littler won it, having had that, that experience, year one, qualifying, having to play Michael Van Gerwen in the first round, going out, and then I think the fact that, over the course of that week, we saw that unbelievable semi-final between Littler and Rock that was just very, very, very special to watch. The fact that we got a Wade Littler final, I thought was amazing. I just thought that entire tournament was, and again, it didn't harm that I was there, and you and I had a week in Blackpool, and it was an awful lot of good fun, and it was very enjoyable. So, yeah, that's my sort of moment of the year. Is probably just the match play was amazing. I think, again, it's difficult to. The problem is you end up, because of the year that he's had, you end up just talking about Luke Littler a lot, don't you? Because he's won virtually everything this year. Virtually everything. Worlds was good. Seeing him in the World was cool.
The 9-dart leg between Luke and Josh is right up there. That was special. It was
as good as it gets now.
Yeah.
Perfect leg.
That was right up there. I thought the Premier League final was brilliant.
Seems a long time ago, that, yeah.
When you look at it now, look, we are.
A lot of darts happened since then, I think, hasn't it? There's been a lot of darts happened since the Premier League, and it's hard to. The Premier League. It was the final was actually very nice, wasn't it?
Yeah. Michael winning in Amsterdam with Zoe there with him was up there from a heartstrings moment. Guess he getting his coat back.
Guess he getting his coat back. That's up there. Yeah, good on him. He won't need it in Dubai, will he?
No. Yeah, Whitlock. The Masters, I agree that the reintroduction of the old Masters format again. You forget things like this because that's almost a year ago, but it was brilliant.
Yeah, we haven't had as much. We haven't had as much sort of strange things happening this year, have we? Like that, last year there was a few. We had some. In the last couple of years, we've had some unusual winners of trophies. People that we didn't expect. Over the last few years, we've seen a few people get their hands on stuff that we would never have predicted. Yeah. And we've sort of the dominance of the two Lukes this year has sort of robbed us of, an Andrew Gilding major win and a Richie Edhouse major win, and those a Martin Lukeman in a TV final, and those sort of interesting things that we'd seen. We've been starved of that a little bit as the number one and number two player in the world have dominated more.
Yeah. I get that's a really good one, Jimmy. I agree. Ross Smith winning a Pro Tour a couple of days after losing his mum.
Yeah, that was a good moment.
That's a nice moment. I agree. No, Mitchell cannot qualify. You have to be 16 to play in a PDC TV event.
Rules is rules, I'm afraid.
So he can play. He can qualify for the junior one, but to play in a PDC televised major senior event, you have to be 16 years of age. So outside the Lukes, your player of the year. Outside, because obviously, Luke and Luke have dominated the year.
Yeah. No, I think it's. I think this is, well, it's not easy, but I think it's a 2-horse race. And I think that it's between Danny Noppert and James Wade. And I just think that run to the match play final, the fact that there's a major final in there that there isn't on Noppert's 2025, just edges it. I know there's some shouts for Josh Rock in the chat room. I know there's some shouts for Jan van Veen, but if you're looking for a player of the year, like, yes, we've seen Jan pick up a win at the European Championships, but then you look across the rest of the year, out of the Worlds in round 2, prelim stage of the Masters, round 1 of the Grand Prix, round 1 of the Slam, second round of the Players' Championships. Like, it hasn't been a brilliant year if you look at the record. Noppert's year's been very good. Johnny's year's been all right. James Wade's year's been very good. But the match play final just edges it for me.
Yeah. I am going. I think I agree with all the ones, and I'm surprised that no one said the one that I'm going to go with. I'm going Nathan Aspinall.
I think Nathan has gone so far under the radar this year.
Agreed. Now, I look at his year on TV.
I can't convince myself.
Quarterfinal. Semi-final, final, 4 European Tour finals, 3 wins. I think his season has gone very much under the radar.
Why does everybody think he's had a crap? Why do I think he's had a crap year? Like, what am I missing? Why? I don't know what it is. What's happened? Is it just because it's been so extreme? Because where he hasn't made a quarterfinal or a final, he's gone out in the first round. Is it? It's because it's peak and trough, isn't it?
Yeah, I look at it. Quarterfinal at the Worlds last year, quarterfinal at the Masters, quarterfinals of the UK Open. Then, yeah, it didn't go according to plan. Final at the Players' Championship, semi-final of the Premier League, 4 European Tour finals, and 3 wins. I think the Aspers had an incredible year. I think that goes under the radar a little bit.
Yeah. I just, there's so much talk and the Premier League conversations, like it seems to be that it's almost like there's a lot of people deserve him. But you put it on paper and you look at that. And maybe it's that up until the Players' Championship finals, all that work was done early in the year. Like, all of that work.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point.
Up until March, like up until the Players' Championship finals, all that work was done until March. And then you go after March this year, and you go first round, second round, but it was the Players' Championship finals that is. Sometimes it's just timing, isn't it? You might have timed that perfectly.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to ask, because it's in the chat room as well.
Go on.
Your 8.
Oh, right. Easy. My 8 is, and let's work on the basis that I'm allowed the freedom to think that when it comes to it, Stephen Bunting might not be in the top 4. So, Littler, Humphreys, MVG, Clayton will be, I think, the top 4 by then, based on what I think is going to happen at the Worlds. And then I think they will be joined by Gezi Price, Jan van Veen, Nathan Aspinall, and I'm going to say, because it should be, James Wade.
Is that what you're going with?
Yeah. Luke, MVG, Clayton, Price, Aspinall, Van Veen, Wade.
Josh, thank you very much for the super like, mate, and pleasure. Glad I could help, buddy. Thank you very, very much, mate. Always a pleasure to help you out. Now, Harry, no, 100%. Wade will not turn it down. Wade, if offered, Wade will take it. Now, I think there is an 8 they would like to pick. And I think in a perfect world, the 8 would be Luke, Michael, Stephen Bunting, Josh Rock, Jan van Veen, Gerwin Price, and Nathan Aspinall. I think that is the perfect 8 in terms of young players, fresh players, excitement. However, I don't think it plays out like that. I think there is a ferret that is going to put a spanner in the works.
I think he's going to be in the top 4.
I agree. I think I've got Johnny getting to the semi-final of the Worlds, and I think he puts himself in the top 4, meaning there will be someone who is disappointed. And you know what? I think Van Veen misses out. I think they will use the same line that was used for Luke Humphreys when everyone thought he should have been in. It's a year too early.
But do you think that line, I think, worked and sounded fine at the time for Luke Humphreys? Can you really use the same line if you are going to include Josh Rock? Like, I'm not sure whether you can, like, if you've got a player that's won a TV major this year and has had the year that Jan van Veen has had, can you use that? Like, there is, like, I mean, what's between? There is 12 months between them in age, literally a year, 1 year, 12 months, both April birthdays. I just don't. I don't get me wrong, Phil. I feel that's what might be exactly what we hear. I'm just calling out early that I'm not sure you can call. You're not quite ready yet. Maybe another year. If of the two of them that are like 23 and 24, he's the one that's actually lifted the pot in singles competition. Don't know. I don't know if it washes with me, that.
However, let's just say that Johnny
international pairs.
Let's say Johnny or let's say Stephen Bunting stays in the top 4, then I think the world number 5, 6, and 7 could all miss out.
But that's become not unusual, is it? In fact, 5, 6, 7, 8 could miss out. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, like, you know, and this will be the challenge. I think, you know, the difficulty will be is if you've got someone like a Nathan Aspinall that sat outside the top 16, then that is a tough, you know, I think it's tough to justify that selection, especially if somebody else within that top 10 goes deep at the Worlds, makes a semi-final or something. I think it's very, very hard.
Oh yeah, look, we're saying this now before the Worlds, that the Worlds changes everything, as we well know. But notoriously, they do not make wholesale changes because you have to rely on players. You have to pick players that you know can perform over 16 weeks. That they're not going to go for the untried and the untested in terms of a whole lineup. So,
but how do you think then that? So Stephen Bunting has played in the Premier League twice,
yeah,
and finished 8th twice. If he's not in the top 4, it's a tough. I think he's a tough inclusion.
But in this year's Premier League, I actually think Stephen Bunting had a better Premier League campaign than Michael Van Gerwen. He won a night.
I know, and he got fucking battered the rest of them.
but he won a night.
Yeah. I don't know. It depends. It's a bit of what you like in it. It depends what you're looking for. You know, there was a considerable difference in, you know, over the course of last year. Bunting picked up 12 points. Michael Van Gerwen picked up 20. Like it is a big.
The other thing as well is you look after 8 weeks. Yes, he was bottom and winless, but he was 4th on the running average. The performances weren't bad.
No, but he won 7 of 22 games, and he only got past the semi-final once. When he played in the semi-final, how many times did he play in the semi-final? Not many.
Someone said about Aspinall getting to. I think the final at Minehead puts Aspinall in.
I think there will be some disappointed people if Aspinall gets in. And there will be. And unfortunately, there will be an awful lot of people that are just talking about Mr. Brightside.
I actually think, look, did Aspinall deserve it last year? Probably not. On this year's form, I think he does. I think it's easier to include him this year than it was last year on the year he's had.
Yes. Yeah. Possibly.
Yeah, I think it's easier to include him.
I do think we are in a transitional period from a sort of old guard of Premier League players, and we are transitioning into a Premier League that in 2 or 3 years from now will look very different to a Premier League 2 or 3 years ago. Like, I do think we are in the midst of a big. So I think you could look at a Premier League list 2 or 3 years ago, and I think in 2 or 3 years' time, how many of them will still be there? I'm not so sure, you know. I'm really not.
I don't know. I still think it's quite easy. And we say this often, the Premier League is different. you have to be a star. You have to have entertainment qualities for the Premier League. And some of these players, I'm not saying they're bad players, but have they got that glitz, that glamour, that razzmatazz that the Premier League needs? And some of them haven't.
So I look at 2021 Premier League.
Yeah.
And I think there's 7 players that played there that won't play in the Premier League again. I think there's 7 players that played in 2021 that won't play in the Premier League again.
Go on then. Who are they? I haven't got it up in front of me.
So, 2021. I'll start at the bottom, even though it paid. I've done my legs here, and I apologise to him for starting and highlighting this. You know what it is. Glenn Durrant, he's not playing another Premier League.
Yeah.
Rob Cross, we're going to have to see a dramatic shift change, for Rob Cross to play another Premier League. Gary Anderson, unlikely.
Yeah.
Peter Wright, highly unlikely. James Wade, highly unlikely. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I keep picking it, but it's highly unlikely. Dimitri van den Berg, highly unlikely. Jose de Souza, highly unlikely. And that is only like 2021, Michael Van Gerwen, Nathan Aspinall, Johnny Clayton. They're the 3 players that I think in 2021 we will see again. Now, is it possible with the strength of the young players that are coming through and the amount of talent, dominance that we're seeing elsewhere, that Michael Van Gerwen, Johnny Clayton, and Nathan Aspinall could slip from the Premier League? Well, we know that Johnny could slip from the Premier League. We know that Nathan could slip from the Premier League. Is it possible that within 2 or 3 years, Michael Van Gerwen could have slipped from the Premier? But then even if the answer's no, right? Even if the answer's no, then what that means is from 2021, you got possibility of going into 2026, 5 years, with 1 player still there. It's a lot, isn't it? It's a big change.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is.
And they're not struggling to sell tickets based on that either. Like, it's all sold out, isn't it? No matter who's playing.
Yeah, it's interesting. And someone said about players losing their tour card. Now, again, this has a lot to do with the change in the money. But the fact that Rob Owen is probably going to lose his tour card on 95.5 grand is ridiculous.
I'm not convinced,
Are you not?
So it would mean Stephen Burton. Now, so let me just skip back to this because Stephen Burton would have to win his opening game, and I'm convinced that we decided Stephen Burton had an unwinnable opening game. Who is he? Remind me who he's playing. I'm trying to skip back to the draw and find him. I can't remember who was playing, but I remember deciding there was absolutely no chance he was winning it. Someone in the chat room will know who Stephen Burton's playing. I haven't got it in front of me either. I'm clicking around trying to find it.
Clicking now.
Hang on. Control F. Martin Schindler. Right, so Stephen Burton probably won't beat Martin Schindler. Matt Campbell would need to win 2 games. Now, I know you fancied Matt Campbell to go on a run, but like that's a big ask. Like, it is a big ask for Matt Campbell to win 2 matches on the Alexandra Palaces, especially if the second one is going to be against the winner of Cameron Menzies and Charlie Manby. That's a tough game for Matt Campbell. And then beneath that, you are looking at, players that are going to need to win 2 games to catch him. So Chris Landman's going to need to win 2 games. Darren Beveridge is going to need to win 3 games. Steve Lennon would need to win 3 games. Same with Matty Dennen. And whilst I think maybe a couple of those players could win a match, perhaps, I think the two that can catch it, like the only player that's one win away from catching Rob Owen is Stephen Burton, and I don't think he's got a cat and hell's chance against Schindler. And like there are other players that. So there's a few been listed in the chat room, but they're I'm not forgetting them. They're in year one of their tour card. So
but they still, if they go into the top 64, they'd still knock him out.
But would he not stay? But why would they not remain?
No, he would still knock him out.
Right, but hang on. So Brooks needs 2 wins. He's not getting them. Crabtree needs 4 wins. Crabtree's a good player. He's not making round 4. I don't think he loses it, I don't think he loses it. That would be my prediction, was that Rob Owen still has a card. I don't think we get that level of drama.
Do you not?
If we do, don't get me wrong, I'll be high-fiving strangers on the night bus because it'll mean that we've seen some crazy stuff at the World Championships. You were going to need some upsets, though.
Yeah.
I just don't think anyone that far down will win enough matches.
It'll be interesting.
Man, yeah, if it's going to happen, let it happen like that. A Bo Greaves quarter-final. I'll do it like that. If it's going to happen, let it happen like that.
I started a comment earlier, and look, this is very, very good for youth darts that the JVC and England youth are going to work together. That was announced. I think that's a very, very good thing for youth darts.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, whatever anyone has had to do to make that happen, well done them. Like it's there desperately needs to be as much cohesion as possible within youth darts, because it's not about who can do the best and who can promote the best and who can get the most streams. And it might, that yes, that is a vehicle, and it allows doing all those things allows you to invest more and move it on. But the core of what it needs to be, or we all want it to be, is about developing more talent, and it will only be truly realized, or it will only reach its full potential if everyone who's key in that works together. So I think it's massively positive, really exciting. It genuinely is one of my, I was really pleased to see it. I think it's one of the good news stories for some time in darts, because without going over the history, everyone knows darts has seen the history of darts can be really summarized with a history of various different sects and organizations of people operating elsewhere, and some of it makes for great stories, and some of it makes for entertainment and fun, and sometimes competition breeds innovation and pushes people on and everything else. But when it comes to youth darts, I just think the more cohesion, the more cooperation, the more shared best practice, the more opportunities that can be shared, the absolute, if then it's the absolute best thing for the game. Yeah, really good news. Very pleased.
Yeah, I agree. And look, we're coming towards the end, and I just want to, first of all, thank you guys all for the continued support you have shown the channel and the growth this year. It has been, again, exceptional. And we are going to continue to grow next year. The office is going to have a bit of a makeover. Well, 2 walls. The walls that will be on screen.
The walls that are on show.
The walls that are on show are going to have a bit of a makeover for the streaming next year. Because it's literally a day off from the world, and then we go into 7 days of Q School, which will be incredible.
So cool.
I am potentially going to go to Saudi We're just waiting on a few things. I'm not going to do both, but potentially I am going to go to Saudi, yes. Just waiting on a few bits.
I'm having a very serious look at one of the other ones, so it could be that we might be covered between us because I'm having a very close look at Abu Dhabi.
Now, between now and 7 p.m. on Thursday, you guys are going to get interviews from the following. Are you ready and are you sat down?
I'm waiting. I got my drink. I'm ready.
Simon Whitlock, Steve Beaton, Josh Rock, Scott Williams, Nathan Aspinall, Cameron Menzies, John Henderson, Andy Hamilton, Chris Doby, Vincent van der Voort, Chris Mason, Gary Anderson, Phil Taylor, Johnny Mack, and Wayne Mardle.
You've been a very busy boy, haven't you? You've been tell the ladies and gentlemen how many miles you've put on your car in the last couple of weeks.
So you will have interviews.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Between now and 6 o'clock, when the World Championship kicks off, you will get content from all those. The Mace one is over an hour long, Marcus. So yes, it's about an hour and 5 minutes.
Settle in.
It's a long one from Mace.
Settle in.
So there is plenty of content. I have a guess. So in the space of 13 days, how many miles do you reckon I drove? Because I've got the exact figure.
How many days?
13.
6,000 miles.
Lower than that, but it's still a lot.
That's my sort of mileage, that, isn't it? 2,140.
3,112 miles.
That's a long way. Especially, being really honest, like, I thought stuff's on your end of the country, innit? It's not like Christ, you can imagine if I was doing it. Do you know what? That's what we never got to today. We never got to the lack of Northeast representation in the UK Open. I can't wait till we have another live lounge. I'm going to be stoked by then. I'll have saved up all my vitriol at that stupid fucking system.
Well, to be fair, fingers crossed. We tried to do it last year and England fucked us up. But the Saturday before the match play, we are going to try and do something from Dan's Boozer.
Yeah, we had it actually booked in. We had a little bit of a garden party, but not garden. You know, we were doing something from the garden. We were lighting the barbecue. We had a few. We had the great and the good of Northeast Darts scheduled to be along, and then rather frustratingly, England ended up in I think it was the quarterfinal that clashed. It was the quarterfinal, the semi-final.
Yeah,
that clashed on literally the only date that would work, but it's a big year this year. There's lots going on. It's going to be brilliant.
As well, early spoiler alert, England have also potentially fucked up New York as well.
Oh, really?
So, England's last group game is at MetLife on the Saturday of the US Darts Masters. At the moment, hotel prices in New York are around £600 a night. Correct.
Fuck. That's piss poor, isn't it?
Yeah.
The only advantage you've got is being a non-drinker. Is that you could stay out the way somewhere and commute in.
I'm not ruling it out because everyone knows how much I love New York.
But you could stay out, far enough out of the way that brought the price down a bit.
Correct. I will do my best to be there.
Or get over there and hire yourself a camper van. Get yourself a van, get one hired, get by the side of the road and get get traveling around. Yeah, I was going to say we got some friends and partners out in the CDC that might have a spare room somewhere that there can be. They might have a friend who's letting out a back room. We could pitch some camp beds in and stop there.
But at the Worlds, as we said earlier, we can promise you everything here on this channel, from previews, reaction, whether that be short form content, long form on YouTube, website content. We've got a couple of new young writers in as well, which will...
Very talented new young writers writing for the website. So you're going to see a lot of nicely put together articles, probably far better.
Which means I haven't got to write them.
Yeah, probably far better than you normally see churned out by Phil and I. I've been rushing around driving place to place trying to write up an article.
We have everything covered for you at the 2025-26 PDC World Championship. We will be doing stuff with Mace and Webby from the venue as always, but it's the last live lounge of the year. The first live lounge of 2026 will be provisionally Monday the 12th of January.
Monday the 12th? I'm free that night.
So set your diaries. But one last time, if you haven't, everyone, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. We massively appreciate all the support from all of you. If we don't speak to any of you individually, have an amazing Christmas with friends, family, loved ones, whatever you are doing. But make sure you check out the darts coverage. There is... The boys will be doing the fallout bars. Don't worry about that. They will be there for the World Championships.
You might see a few surprise faces as well. See, the fallout bar's busy over December. Lots of people have things on that we have to lean into the rest of the team. But you may also find from time to time that we get some support in from friends and partners. So there's a few exciting surprises planned for the fallout bar this year.
Yeah. So, but we will have you covered. But from me, the team... Merry Dartmas, have an absolute fabulous time, and the Worlds is going to be amazing. I've been Phil Bars, Dan Simpson. We are signing out. Enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy the darts. Let's do this.
Introducing the Paddy Power World Darts Championships.